I'm Senator Patricia Canzoneri-Fitzpatrick. I represent the 9th Senate District in Nassau County. And today we're here to discuss the recent decision from our state's highest court, the Court of Appeals, in People v. Weinstein, and the legislation that our conference is introducing to address this miscarriage of justice. Time and again, our conference has warned about the predictable repercussions that would result from policies out of Albany that prioritize partisan politics and criminals over everyday New Yorkers. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for the legislative supermajorities to advance those priorities through the laws themselves, but last year they insisted on pushing this through our court system. And now a conviction that represented justice and accountability to so many women in particular against individuals in positions of power who abuse this position and commit sexual violence was overturned in People versus Weinstein. It is important to remember how we got to this untenable point in an effort to hold individuals accountable for wrongdoing. My very first day here in Albany as a state senator, we voted to increase the number of members of the Judiciary Committee. And that was the beginning of the Democrats in the Senate majority to have a path toward choosing the Chief Justice of our Court of Appeals. We had a very qualified candidate for the position of Chief Judge, and purely for partisan politics, the advocates for survivors of sexual assault raised the alarm about the Senate's preferred pick, and now our current Chief Judge. Many of us, unfortunately, and too many women know just how difficult it can be to come forward to go through the legal process to ensure that perpetrators of sexual violence are held accountable. In People versus Regan, we had a victim who did everything the legal system requires. She immediately reported the assault. She endured a 4-hour rape kit examination. She had to tell and retell and relive the horrific crime over and over and over again. But at least momentarily, justice prevailed when a 12-member jury of her peers found that defendant guilty. However, our now Chief Judge Wilson penned the decision to overturn that conviction on questionable technical grounds. And even Judge Singas stated in her dissent in People versus Weinstein, quote, "fundamental misunderstandings of sexual violence," close quote. In fact, Judge Singas dissented in People versus Regan and People versus Weinstein, and she noted that overturning the conviction, the court is continuing a disturbing trend of overturning juries' guilty verdicts in cases involving sexual violence. We should all be disturbed by the outcomes that have resulted from the majority's out-of-touch priorities, but we should not be surprised, because we saw this coming. My only surprise is that this demonstration of completely misguided priorities and interpretations of the law have reared its head so quickly and in such a high-profile case almost exactly 1 year after Chief Judge Ronan Wilson's confirmation. Like many other issues coming out of the progressive agenda, where some policies may sound great in hypotheticals and in theory, but when these policies run into reality, we have disastrous results. Too many policies coming out of Albany are simply too far detached from the reality of how the world works, especially with crime. The cat is out of the bag, and we know that there are several examples that demonstrate how the majority of this court view holding individuals accountable for alleged sexual violence. The question that remains is, will the legislature step up and take action to make our laws clear so that we can hold individuals accountable and so that we can stop prioritizing criminals over law-abiding New Yorkers?